like y'all were doing, and share and stuff like that. That's like seventh grade creative writing class at Cattle Middle Magnet is where my creative was born. And like, this is what I wanted to do with my life type of thing. So we start with the outline because with screenwriting, with short films, it's like a minute a page. So the script is like a minute on screen per page. So we usually have a goal. The average feature film is 85 to 90 pages, which is an hour, 25 minutes, hour and a half. And with short films, it's usually 20 to 25 minutes. So I have in my mind, I need to write 20 pages. So then it's like, okay, I'm gonna do 2 pages today. I'm gonna do 5 pages this day, blah, blah, blah. With my outline, it gives me focus, because then I have my acts, my first, second, and third act, my characters of who's doing what in what act, and building my character arcs and stuff. It's like all the stuff we learned in English class, literally, I'm using. And I'm just like, oh, okay, but it's just a different format of writing. And then I usually start off, I just write the pages, and then I go back, like I let it sit for a couple of days and then go back to it with fresh eyes and like, oh, I want to change that dialogue. That doesn't sound good. And I used to be a news producer, which is the copywriting part. So I read stuff out loud, like I act it out. And usually, as I also learned in English class, if you stumble on something, it's probably because it's not good dialogue. So if I do that, I'm acting it out, I'm doing that or whatever, I'll change it up a little bit. And then there's a rewrite, like you're always rewriting. Even when we're filming, sometimes there are rewrites happening and we get a new script on set, or new scene, new pages, whatever on set. So it's a forever writing experience. Like they'll say lock script and then you get another one. On set, I'm a script supervisor. Most of the time, I write and direct too, of course, but I'm a script supervisor, which is a continuity. I call myself a continuity queen. So if you ever like, what? Probably not Love and Hip Hop fans. That was the best. If you've ever watched a film and like, it's usually props or wardrobe. So say she has a jacket on, like I have a jacket on in one scene, and then like it cuts to something else. She hasn't moved, but now she doesn't have a jacket on. So things like that. So I'm like, okay, because we might have shot something on Tuesday and then we shot the same part of the scene on Friday. And so I'm the person that said she had a jacket on. You need to put the jacket on. So the editor can use that and it won't look crazy. And then we won't be in the goof section of IMDb. So, because that's usually where it lands. It's like, oh, she, listen, it's exactly why I became a continuity person, because it's like I don't want to be in the goof section, because some of them are like pages and pages, and then it takes you out of the experience because you notice that, and so now it's like you're noticing everything instead of enjoying the film. So I want people to enjoy the film. But yeah, screenwriting, and that's something I never thought I would do. I went and got my MFA, and it was the hardest thing to learn because, again, creative writing, copywriting, I had to basically do something in the middle where I gave a little description, but not too much, and I have a time limit because of the pages. Because in copywriting, it's like 30 seconds. Well, I was on TV broadcast, so it's like 30 seconds of copy. This of copy, you got to edit stuff down. Like we'll get something from the AP wire that's like pages and pages, and I have to edit it down to like a paragraph. And then in screenwriting, I'm able to give a little description, but it's mostly focused on the dialogue. So yeah, in creative writing, where we can go paragraphs of dialogue, we can't do that. You can go paragraphs and describe everything. And so the descriptors that we have in creative writing is usually what we put, like the production design, the wardrobe, all that other stuff. We're showing it instead of telling it. So you'll see things like when they have those long shots of like family pictures and stuff like that. So you know that this person has kids. I don't have to tell you that. This person was a football player when he was in high school. I don't have to tell you that. There's a picture to tell you those stories without saying it. And so then we can get into the action or the dialogue of what's happening right now. With short films, we usually get in the middle and get out before the end. So we give you like a little chunk. And then with feature films, sometimes they're too long, but there's too much of that. But yeah, so now I'm a filmmaker. I went from news to filmmaking, and I love it. I want to be on set for the rest of my life. Jarek was a featured extra in our web series, and when I met him, he just has the most like electric personality. And now he loves set life now. Was that your first time? Yeah. It was your very first time. Okay, so now I see him on every set now. Like every we did a couple of features like The Blind. I don't know if y'all saw that movie that was shot here. The backstory of Phil Robertson from Duck Dynasty. And then we were on set for Never Alone for Christmas, which is a BET Christmas that came out this past Christmas. And there were a few other features that haven't come out yet, but yeah. So that's what I do now. Any questions?
I have a couple.
Mm-hmm.
So one is, say for instance, you were writing a short film, 20 pages.
Mm-hmm.
As a writer, how do you recommend that doesn't have any experience writing for TV? Do you recommend that, you just write as a writer, you just write your creative story and then go back and just start hacking it until it's down to the 20 pages?
Yes.
Because it seems that'd be easier than trying to fit it into the confined format.
Yes, because usually when people come to me and they're transitioning from creative writing to screenwriting. I'm mixing it. Screenwriting, I'll say just write it. Just get the story out, write it. If you can afford it, get a script consultant or someone who's in filmmaking and that can show you format. But YouTube University has plenty of things that could teach you format. Most people write in Final Draft. I have a software called Celtx, CELTX. It's free. And I like it better because when it comes to production side and I have to break the script down, I can do it in the software. I don't have to transfer it somewhere else. So I like it better anyway. But CELTX, and then Final Draft if you want to get. I know they have a trial, but Celtx is free. But yeah, just get it down, and then once you learn format, because that's what I do. I just write. I get in Word and I just write. Yeah. And then it's like, okay, what is unnecessary? Yeah. Like, am I telling too much? This can be action. This could be, like I said, wardrobe. I don't need to put this in there. Like, what's the meat of the story? And then I'll start transferring it to my screen page. And then sometimes, even if you know the format, just write. You know what I'm saying? Just write it all out. And then, like I said, I put it up for a couple of days. I come back, and then it's like, that dialogue sucks. Like, this is that. I don't need that. I don't even need this character. Like, delete this whole page. Like, so yeah, you have thoughts after the fact. And I don't like to. The only restriction for filmmakers is budget. So if I know, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, I can write a wonderful 20-page script. Can I afford to do 20 pages?
Yeah.
So maybe I do 5. Maybe I do like a little bit of it and, find somebody with a really good iPhone and shoot it, So yeah, just get it down and then edit it. And then y'all know about Louisiana Film Prize that happens here. Okay, so their restriction is 5 to 15 minutes. So maybe you write and it's 25. So you know that you have to get it down to 15 somehow. And then a lot of people shoot the 25 and then just edit in post-production. They'll chop it up to 15. So there's that too, because editing is another, like post-production is another edit. Because it's like we shot this hour-and-a-half movie, but maybe it's only 80 minutes, because some of the stuff we shot sucks or the story. Now we have a different story now that we've shot it. We want it in different, like The Blind, the script totally changed in post-production. They decided to do the narration parts where he was in the actual Blind narrating. We didn't shoot that the first time. They went and reshot stuff to add to it. So there's always an edit. Yeah. Because like I'll see scripts like go on Google to one of your favorite films and go look for the script and see like it may have completely changed from the time it was on set to the time it made it to screen.
And then my second question is, say for a person like myself who has no knowledge of the film world other than being a fan, what do you do with it? You've written this story that's your awesome story, and then who do you seek out first? Even the next step. You know what I mean? I mean, I'm so unfamiliar with that world.
Yeah, they're besides like I seek out my peers first. So if it's like I want to be a screenwriter, talk to other screenwriters or get into like Facebook groups is how I met a lot of my filmmaking friends, screenwriters, different departments and stuff like that. And then if it's something like you're like I want to see this turn into a film, then you seek out filmmakers. A lot of us, especially me, I want to direct stuff that I haven't written. Like almost everything I've done is something I've written, but I want to be able to interpret other people's words. You know what I'm saying? Which is why I did this. Because it was just like I want to show that I can take other people's scripts and turn it into something. So yeah, then it's just like finding filmmakers, students, like student filmmakers are probably the best because all of them we all have to do a thesis film. And if you'll sign over your intellectual property, or sign over the rights or whatever. And then if it's like feature films or something like that, there's a chance that you can become a paid screenwriter, selling. There's a difference between optioning and selling, but I won't go into all that. In the book world, it's the same thing. So it's like if you decide, okay, I'm just gonna sell it out front, like you can have it for whatever, and then those are usually the ones that end up completely different. Because I have a friend he's a screenwriter in LA, and he's a lot of his films have been created, and he'll show me like the original script, and I'm just like that's why I didn't like the film, because if it would have been exactly what he wrote, I would have loved it. You know what I'm saying? And there's a lot, like you'll see if you go and look at the original scripts, a lot of them are like that. Like I don't know if you ever seen the movie Queen and Slim. Okay, the ending was totally different in the script. There's a lot of stuff that was totally different in the script, and I'm like, I probably would have liked it better if you had kept that. Like the snitch was a totally different type of person. So yeah, do that when you go home. That's homework. Okay.
Can you publish a script like you?
Yes, you with the WGA will let you, but also you can copyright your script because if you use Final Draft, there's like an option to go and copyright it as soon as it's finished, as soon as you lock it. And then if you do another version or something like that, then you need to go back and update it.
Okay.
But yeah.
And then what about, so you mentioned signing over intellectual property.
Mhm.
What does that sort of consist of if it's something, I guess in both ways, if you didn't copyright it or if you did copyright it, like what's the difference in between?
You need to copyright it before you try to sell it, period.
Okay.
Like just point blank, period. Before any money, before you even try to get it out there to people, copyright it. Just like when we send out stuff for people to read, when I send out like portions of audition, I get NDAs, non-disclosure agreements and stuff like that. When you're on set, you get non-disclosure agreements. You do not want your intellectual property out there unprotected, basically. You're putting your baby out there unprotected. Let's not do that.
Okay. How does selling your intellectual property work?
It's
Recommend that?
I mean, it just depends on you. If some screenwriters, and they're like scripts in the music world, I consult producers, and they'll have beats that have been sitting on their laptop or whatever for 10, 20 years. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just like, those are throwaway beats. Just go ahead and sell them. So if you have like, there's something you wrote and you don't think it's really good, but it could be a good film. You know what I'm saying? Like it could be a good short. It could be something like that. Try and see, if you can option that. Most people have literary agents. Same thing in the book world. You have a literary agent that shops your scripts for you. So that's a good way to protect yourself. Somebody who knows the business better than you.
Allen Project is a New Orleans-based law think tank with Tulane University lawyers, law students doing clinics, and they are very helpful. It's like a $60 artist donation, and they will answer your legal questions. For example, when I published my first novel, I self-published, and I made sure I copyrighted it, which is, you can do that yourself with the copyright.gov. But I also wanted to use someone made a painting for the cover of my book, and I needed to find out how to handle that legally. they sold me their intellectual property rights to the painting so that I could use it for graphic and promotion. And I did it as a work for hire. That's one example of what you can do.
Mhm.
But that's a really good source. Um, Ella, ELLA project. And that's a really good source for getting legal questions answered. They're very quick turnaround. They do workshops every month.
It's really good because we don't have a lot of entertainment or copyright lawyers up here. Um, but yeah, so we call it IP. It's just something that you've created and you want to protect your idea, even if it's just the idea. Because a lot of times we'll go into like think tanks, brainstorm meetings, pitch meetings, stuff like that, and it's not on paper, but we've discussed our idea. You know what I'm saying? And so that's when it's like a non-disclosure agreement will protect you from sharing my idea with other people outside of this room. Um, and then um, and then when it comes to like physical property, like a book or a short story or whatever, yeah, protect it because there's like any entertainment industry, there are snakes out there who will be like, oh, that's cute, or they'll tell you that it sucks and then pitch it to somebody else.
Yeah.
I've heard those stories like, oh no, this is a terrible script. Like this is you need to work on this, and then they'll sell it to somebody else. So yeah, and then because I have a few friends who are continuous screenwriters, so especially now that the streaming industry is here, they're always looking for indie content they can buy real cheap, and then pay you in streaming money. But yeah, selling your yeah, that's what I mean. Like pay you in streaming money. But yeah, if you get something to a theater, it's a much bigger check. Just saying. Any other questions?
In your script, you had you referenced like homeboy, homegirl. Is
Mhm.
that like a personality direction? Like, why did you use those terms?
Was it in the action or it was like a
Yeah,
character
like
title in the
Like,
action?
like homegirl that she's doing nails or that sort of thing.
Yeah, because that was an episode where okay, he was getting advice from his friends about I know y'all know what a situationship is, right? Okay, he was getting advice. So he's in the situationship where they were best friends and now they've crossed the line into something else. Yeah, and so well to him it's a relationship. To her it's just something else. Yeah, it's a step past. Yeah, so it's like a little past that. So that's why it's called a situationship because two people have two different ideas of what it is. This is it. It actually was in the book. So he's getting advice. He said he texted a lot of his friends and was asking for advice about his situation. And so I did like a montage of them asking, giving him advice, giving advice to the camera basically as if it were him. And so, yeah, these are his friends. These are his, one is his brother, and then the rest are his friends. So it's like his homegirl, his homeboy, whatever.
Just setting the
Mhm.
Right. So it's just setting the
Yeah.
relationship.
Yeah. So it's like, because they're talking to the camera
Sure.
as if it was him. And like I said, some of that is direction for the actor. So it's like this is somebody that you're endeared to. You know what I'm saying? It's not just like you're giving advice on the street.
So from a writer's perspective, would you say that it's more like say we write something and then you buy it? Is the writer's relationship at that point done? Is there any point where the writer's involved from that, scenarios where the writer's involved further on?
It
How
depends
does
on
that relationship work?
it depends on your rights. If you sell them exclusive rights, like
Yes.
total rights or whatever, you're done. And then some people negotiate being a producer as well as a writer, so you can be on set and see how your intellectual property is used. And then some people are just one and done. They're like, I'm just gonna sell, like I said, sell it off or whatever. Like in their mind, it's a crap script. I don't care. I don't care what happens to it.
So from your perspective, your job, which do you prefer? I mean, do you have a preference? Do you rather have the material and it's yours now to do what you want, or do you rather like have that person who's there saying,
You mean
You know,
as a director or as a writer?
as a director.
Okay. Because that's what I said, almost everything I've done, it has been mine.
Oh.
So if I did, like, say you option a script or you let me use your script, because like my thesis film was not something that I wrote. So I had to get permission to use the intellectual property or whatever. It wasn't a sale. It was
Yeah.
just permission. And but I mean, he was in LA. But if he decided he wanted to come on set, I would have been fine with that.
Yeah.
Because I am also a writer, and I want you to see exactly what I'm doing with your words.
So you as a writer, you don't sell all your rights and then you're done, generally.
If I was screenwriting for pay, I probably would, because I wouldn't want to watch.
It would be hard.
I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I just
Maybe.
yeah, just send me the link to view it when it's done. Yeah, I probably would.
Yeah, I was just
Yeah.
curious about that.
I
how
probably
you feel
would.
about that.
Like, and then my screenwriter friends, I think only one of them actually like likes to be on set. Most of them are like, okay. And then when they find out that it's been optioned or it's actually been created, then they share that. But yeah, I probably would if I was just screenwriting. Yeah, because I know I'd be like, oh my god, no. Like, that's not what she's supposed to be wearing. That's not what it looks. Yeah, I probably would. I wouldn't. I'd be done. I probably would, because that's what I know me. And yes.
So, I know this person who has written a book, excellent book, nonfiction. Well, actually, it may be, well, it's nonfiction because it's her life.
Okay.
It's kind of like a memoir. So when someone says, I want to make a movie out of this, is that where she decides whether she's going to sell the IP outright, or can she give them permission to use it and keep the IP rights?
I mean, it just depends on who she's talking. Yeah,
That's an option?
yeah, that's an option.
Okay.
Because like I said, he didn't sell. I mean, he's my friend, but had like he gave me the rights to use it, and then he also starred in it. So it was just like, do you want to be involved? I again asked him. I was like, do you want to be involved? Because I can cast somebody to be you. You don't have to be on set or whatever. He was like, no, I want to play me. I was like, okay then. And he did a great job. But yeah, if you come to me as a filmmaker, say it's your story, and you're like, I really want to see this on screen, and I'm like, okay, let's sit down and have a meeting and see, like what we can work out. And then sometimes we do that, and then we negotiate something on the back end. Say I sell it, or say we option it to a studio or something like that. Like, we go to a lot of film festivals. We'll go to stuff and pitch short films, concept films for a feature. If you give me money, I can extend this into a feature, or if you give me money, I can make this feature even better. Stuff like that. So we could do like a short or a concept short or something like that, or go sell it at Sundance or something like that. And then we negotiate. Okay, you get 70, I get 30. And then the streaming contract or the theatrical release contract, if there's, profit on the back end, then I'd be like, you can have all that. I don't care. Like, I get my rate as a director, and then the rest of it. But that's because I'm a writer.
Yeah.
Because I know how it is.
So you can still pursue having your book of that, and then the movie or film. It's so they feed off of one another.
There's a thing as limited rights. Like, you can give like, I still, and then there's like, after a certain time, if you haven't made this movie in 2 years, I can option it to somebody else. You know what I'm saying? So there's that too.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I say. Just like the book world, it's if you decide not to publish this within this time frame, then I can go sell it to somebody else, or give the rights to somebody else.
Is there like a website, somewhere to like LegalZoom to ensure that your contract that you're drafting up is like legitimate, or would you just like go to like?
I would, yeah, like someone I would have a lawyer look at it, or someone who's familiar with the industry. Most of them are standard, but sometimes they sneak stuff in there, especially now with AI. They sneak a lot of AI stuff in there. So it's like, that's what I've been looking for. I'm looking like, does this say artificial intelligence anywhere in here? Because sometimes a lot of, that's what the writer's strike was about. that a lot of their intellectual property is then put into the software, and then it's like, is it still mine? Like there's that straddling the fence. Like, no, you sold us the rights, so now we can do whatever we want with it.
Yeah. It's very picky, isn't it?
Yeah. Whereas before, it would have been a human editor sitting there, and it's like okay, or like I said, you sit down at a pitch meeting, you haven't signed anything, and then they're like, okay, they're writing down your idea, and then they plug it in AI, and they have a script before you even get home.
And I think there was a question with the copywriting of whether you can copyright AI information. And I think this person, I forget his background, but he wanted the right to copyright something that was written with AI, and I think the courts were against
AI has already lost 2 cases when it comes to copyright.
Right. And it's in the music industry too. It's like and a lot of people are like pushing back on it, like we're not going to we're not going to publish anything that was even partially created by AI. So, and they have, is that the parade people?
You have a
It's so loud, and it's like, how is it so loud this far from the?
They do close at 12:30 today.
Okay.
Apparently.
Like, it starts at like 2, I think.
Yeah, they start rolling at 2, I think.
After 12:30, okay, so
Yeah.
I was set up out there.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, it's a line of tents.
Yeah, the music and traffic hours before, and then they'll actually do the in the rain.
So you have theme music.
You see music, yes.
Right. I was like, hey, okay. But yeah, so yeah, now they have, I don't know if you were I don't know if they did it in high school, but you know how you can put your term paper in the software and it'll tell you whether or not it's plagiarized. Now they have software like that can tell you if AI participated in the creation of it. So yeah. If they see that, then it's like, no, I can't buy that.
Pandora's box.
Mhm.
I do not envy people having to make decisions about all of that.
It is. Yeah. It's just.
And as a visual artist too, it's even worse.
It's even worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Much easier to get your work stolen by a large margin.
And it's part of the reason I stopped doing photography, because now I don't know what's what. It's like there's a difference between graphic art or I don't know what to call it, visual effects. Or something like that.
Yeah.
Like people think that these AI images are real people and things like that. And I was just like, you know what? And then I start seeing people who are also visual artists participating in it. It's just like,
Go ahead and write your extinction.
right. It's like, come on, don't do that.
There's
But
a new thing out called Nightshade, and it's essentially a computerized filter that's unseen by the human eye, but it puts a filter over your artwork if you're trying to post your artwork online. And it puts this filter over your artwork, so if then someone tries to come by and swipe your work, copy and save your image, and put it into a image generation software, what it will do is the filter has a hidden algorithm in it that will infect the AI prompt generator. So essentially, any prompts that they use that have been trained on your imagery will now be poisoned and can no longer be used by any other AI user.
dang. Gotcha.
It's called Nightshade.
Right. Yeah. It's great. And then it's like I've seen the evolution in just a year, like where, especially with like I don't remember, it was a friend of mine who there was like Houston rodeo people that didn't exist. And so they had like these pictures that looked like they had been event images. Like someone went and took events at this Houston rodeo event, and it was like that never happened. So it went viral, and people were like, "Oh my God, I need to go to the Houston rodeo if people, are looking like this or whatever." And it was just like, "Oh my God, y'all don't even know the difference anymore of real people and not." And then it's like at first everybody looked the same, the noses were the same, all this other stuff. And now it's like the more you feed it, the more information it gets, and now it can decipher this face from that face from that face. And so it's like, stop feeding it. But anyway, I'm going to tangent by AI. But that's the reason we had that was most of the reason we had the strikes, because they were trying to protect themselves, even actors and actresses because one of the things was to be able to scan your image. And I get sometimes you can't fly them back out to do like this one little thing where you need them or their voice to use their voice when you need them. But yeah, they were negotiating pennies for being able to like scan your image, and then we don't have to pay you for the extra day, and then we don't have to pay you for the extra work, and then we can use that anytime we want to, forever and ever. And it's like, no,
Perpetuity throughout the universe.
yes, forever. When you're dead, we can make something from and the music people with the remixes coming out in different people's voices and stuff that went viral, and I'm just like, oh my god, it's wild. But yeah, even now, like I do copywriting for people on social media, and now they can use AI to do their copywriting. So they can just say like, I need this for their social media pages. They can create scripts for their social media pages. It's like writers. Oh my
That's
god.
kind of weird. Getting AI to protect you from AI.
Right.
To writing copyright to protect you from AI.
It's just like, yeah, to protect you from someone who doesn't exist.
You can write your copyright, or you can have a, I can't remember what it's called, there's a document that you can have written out that the copyright will transfer to your children, and it'll be a new copyright, so that if you die, and you have books, or you have whatever out there, they can get the royalties or whatever to them after you're already dead, and it'll continue to protect your work. And it all has to do with Mickey Mouse. Because Disney wanted to protect Mickey Mouse, and it only went for so long, I think it was like 20 years or something after Disney died, and so they were like, no, we have to continue to have the rights, and so they actually changed the law now, so that it's like 70-something years after a person dies, but you can still have it transferred to your kids. There's still things that you have to have transferred to your kid if you want them to continue to benefit from your work.
Too late for Mickey Mouse.
Sorry, Mickey.
Yeah, copyright.gov is that's where you go to copyright your work, be it voice or what have you. They have videos that will explain terms and situations. They answer your questions if you send them questions. They have also done workshops on Ella project, but you can contact them directly, and they're very responsive. They're very pro artists. So copyright.gov. Make sure it says gov though.
And you do have to. There is a small fee.
There is a small fee, and it is worth it. And you can copyright your work as is, and it will cover variations.
This was like you go back and update,
Right.
like this, because you submit a file, so you can go back and update it. That's why I was like, if you write the script and then it translates to something else, because they call it final draft, and we never have a final draft. So like this draft of it, just make sure you go back and update it, so that part is protected too, even if you just changed a line, so that's protected too.
You can also get, on top of your copyright, you get a Library of Congress number, which is free, and that will also help in that process. And I think also it's just kind of cool to be like, I have the Library of Congress.
My work is in the Library of Congress.
That's me.
This is very interesting.
Thank you.
Very interesting.
Any other questions?
We could probably take one more question.
Okay.
Short.
Okay.
We have 2 minutes.
Okay.
When it comes to question, as a filmmaker, it's always hard to get cast and crew. For someone who has finished a work and wants to see it produced in whatever manner, how would someone go about getting a cast and crew, especially when the pockets are barren?
Ooh, child. That's what we do when the pockets are barren. That's most of what we make. Pocket barren. Like with situationships, I literally was probably 5 different departments on this series. I just knew I wanted to see it happen. So it's like I knew I was going to direct it. I'm also a camera operator. I am an editor. I am, all the things, so I can save money. Basically, like I'm all the things, so I can save money. I can't pay an editor, so I'm gonna edit it myself. I can't pay someone to do coloring or someone to do. And we barter a lot too. So it's like if you're a camera person and maybe you need something from me and maybe we could barter. You're editing your project for you shooting mine, and then a lot of my cast was friends of mine who are stage actors and wanted to do something in film. That's a great source of casting because it's like their first film project. They're trying to get credits. They're trying to learn navigate the film world and stuff like that. Student actors that are in drama programs or and depending on like what your script entails, if they're child actors or something like that, then you can find those people or whatever. And then child actors, and then there's a lot of rules and stuff about time on set for child actors and things like that. They can only be on set for 6 hours, so you have to navigate around that. But yeah, a lot of my casting is like posting something on Facebook or posting something on Instagram or tapping into sources of drama and theater around town. And then for a crew, again, as a visual artist, you know people who do certain things, and it's like maybe they're a videographer and they've never done film before, and they want to shoot something, and they're like, hey, let's do, it's a 5 minute, maybe you want to do some like 5 minute real quick project that's only going to take a day of their lives and get it done. So it's a lot of finding that community and then tapping into the people who want to help you get it done.
So can you just walk out there and gather your friends and family or whoever and film it with your iPhone?
At this point, yes.
Okay.
There are literally festivals that are dedicated to just films made on mobile devices.
Yeah.
So it's
to start.
Yeah, to start with. I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of people like you develop. Issa Rae's Awkward Black Girl was shot on phones, and it became Insecure. So
It became what?
Insecure, which was a HBO series.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's like, yeah, I mean, it starts off, but people see the story.
It's the idea.
It's the story. Like I can forgive. No, I can't. I can't forgive bad acting. I can forgive. I can forgive anything with a bad. But it's like I know the script is good. You just don't have the right cast. I can tell that.
Yeah.
But a good story is always gonna win over what you shot it on.
Yeah.
So yeah, just get your friends to do some little skits and stuff like that and practice the art of filmmaking and stuff. I wish I would have had some of the devices these kids have now, and
Yeah.
they're able to make films in elementary school. Yeah. So yeah, and then connect with other filmmakers.
Well, I want to thank you for being here. Surely we can entice you to come back again and maybe use some of our writers. But,
Okay.
Keep that in mind.
Yeah, you come up with a script, contact me.
Yeah, so we're so grateful. And remember, the next meeting is March 2nd, and